Hello, friends and fellow rebels, and welcome to the woods. I have spent a lot of time talking about how to get in touch with Source, how to stand in the center of yourself, attune to Source, bring it through, and live in that space. Now, you can't full time, it's just not possible. But you certainly can for a short burst of time when you can take control of the circumstances around you and make sure that the world you're living in is one of your creation and not that of some other force or some other person or the system itself. Now, the reason I wanted to go over that with you has to do with the chaotic time that we are about to embark on. And we're all going to need to be able to stand in our sovereignty, stand in our center, stand in Source, attune to Source. I think that's going to be particularly important with the events coming up later this spring and entering into the summer. Now, let me give an example of one way that this can be used to assist in an everyday life situation that's a common problem for a lot of us, and that's stage fright. When we have to talk to a group or perform in front of a group, there are quite a few of us who are overwhelmed by the energy of the people around us, the large number of people around us. And as I have pointed out earlier, when you communicate with someone, if you want your ideas to be understood, and if you want to understand those who are hearing you, so you can tailor what you say and how you say it to reach them effectively, you need to be in touch with their energy. But those of us who are sensitive, the minute that we relax and open up to feel the energy of the crowd, we get overwhelmed by the sensation. And if they're excited or if they're angry, if the energy is high, if the emotions, the energy in motion is high, it makes it nearly impossible for us to push through if you don't know this trick. So what you do in a circumstance like that, where you're feeling a high level of anxiety or fear when it comes to dealing with a group of people, making a presentation, speaking, communicating to them, you utilize your emotion. In this case, you let your anxiety become fear. You use your fear to cut your connection to them, their connection to you, so you are no longer feeling them. Then you attune to Source. See, you let the energy of fear roll through and out of you into the ground, so it's no longer a factor. It's cut the connections you need to cut, and then you open up to Source. You stand in the center of Source, something that you've been practicing through your meditations and through your work, something you have learned how to conjure, how to invoke within yourself through practice. Stand in the center of Source, let that connection through, and make it stronger than the connection you have to your audience. And then you can let a thread, just a small amount of the energy from the people you are talking to come through. But keep the Source connection stronger. The entire time of your presentation, stand in that center. You are sovereign, you are free. No one can affect you but by your free will. And speak, perform, do what you need to do for the audience, for those who have gathered. But make sure that as you're doing so, your primary focus and your primary sensitivity remains with Source. You do that, and you won't have a problem with stage fright. If you keep fighting it and throttling your fear down so it can't do what it needs to do, which is disconnect you from what's creating that overwhelm of all of the energies that are hitting you at once, you're going to continue to have a problem. But this is why some of us feel stage fright. Some of us feel it stronger than others. Almost everyone who is a performer feels the energy of those they're performing with. When you're scrutinized, when you're being observed or looked at, you will feel that energy, the energy of the person or people who are looking at you. And when it's a large group, all the more so. Which is why a lot of people who make a habit of dealing with large groups will generate a persona, a mask, a filter, if you will, of who and what they are that's specifically designed to deal with groups. Most of us have a filter that we work through. We have one persona for home and one persona for work, one persona for dealing with authority, a different persona for dealing with our children. Most of us, and it's perfectly normal and perfectly fine to carry different energies that are all part of us that balance differently depending on who or what we're dealing with. And it's perfectly fine to have a front-facing persona that deals with all of the public. It is a protective measure to keep from getting overwhelmed and to keep from getting hurt from those who might deliberately or inadvertently strike out at you in ways that are harmful. Again, stand in Source. That's your best protection. And welcome to the woods.